I'm Blake Brown, and this is Backroads Basketball. Well, Jerry, here we are. Backroads Basketball has made it to Pampa, Texas, home of the Harvesters, and home court, of course, is McNeely Fieldhouse. Let's go and take a look inside. These guys back in the 50s, they were high school basketball in Texas. They won 4 titles in a span of 6 years, and they had 2 undefeated teams and 2 really big winning streaks that we'll hear about later. This is the old lobby, which is really not used anymore, but it's still here. The gym now, most people access it from the back side. But this is where, when I came in 1980, I came down these stairs and I was bawling and squalling about our loss. So here we are. And here's the thing about McNeely Fieldhouse, Jerry, is I've been in over 400 gyms, and they're all unique, but there's not a gym like McNeely Fieldhouse that I've seen. To me, this takes me back to, say, a field house in Indiana. That's the vibe that I get. When I think of McNeely Fieldhouse, you look at the balcony seating. For its time, it was built in '51, and it's huge. For 1951, this is a really, really big gym. So this was a showcase gym for the Texas Panhandle. Now, Clifton McNeely, believe it or not, Jerry, was the first player ever drafted by an NBA team. He was the first player. When the NBA held their first official draft in 1947, he was the first player taken straight out of Texas Wesleyan College. That's where he played college basketball. He's a true Texas basketball product because he played his high school basketball in Texas, he played his college basketball here in Texas, and of course his coaching career is exclusively in Texas. But he was the first player way back in 1947 chosen by the Pittsburgh Ironmen of the NBA draft. Clifton was a humble farm boy from Slidell, Texas, and he didn't see the practicality in going all the way up to a place and playing for a team that he knew nothing about. And he thought the safer bet was to stay home and go to work, and he went to work for Phillips Petroleum Company, and he actually played a little semi-pro basketball for them before he came here as the coach of the Harvesters. This is a shrine to basketball. You've got this Midwestern feel. You've got a lot of masculinity in here. You've got the interior brick, you've got the steel rafters, you've got the detailing of the upper balcony. And this, again, just feels like a gym straight out of the Midwest. And it's just a wonderful place to play basketball. What's great about McNeely Fieldhouse is you have the 2 big window features here on the north side of the gym, and it lets all the natural light into it, and that just adds a charm to it in itself. And so many people now have covered over those windows. We've got to talk about temperature control and taking care of the building, and we lose all that. And luckily here in Pampa, we still have these grand windows that we can draw our eyes to.
I'm Jerry Pope. I played basketball for Coach Clifton McNeely in the 50s. We won, during his tenure there, at that time he won 72 straight games in a row. And at another era, he won 44 games in a row, he was just the greatest coach in basketball as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, so Jerry, I know you guys won a lot of games with Coach McNeely, but what was it about him that pulled out all those wins and you got with your teams? What was he like? What was his demeanor like? What was his coaching style?
His coaching style is no longer in vogue. I mean, there's nobody like him because he was always on the bench, and when we practiced on the north end of this gym, he'd stand at the baseline and he would just watch us practice. He may say 1 word, he may say 2 words, or he may say no words. Just watch us practice. And then for specialty things, we'd like practice freezing the ball, holding on to the ball, and we ran a little four corner on that where we'd pass to the wing and cut, pass to the wing and cut. That's what we'd do. And we always worked on that. We'd work on the jump ball because that was very important back then to get possession. And it's not so important today, but it should be important. But it's not. His demeanor was just incredible because he would just sit there and watch us play. And the other coach might call a timeout, but Coach McNeely would just huddle up and he might not say hardly anything at all. Just be ready for the referee to tell him it's time to get back on the floor and play. That was Coach McNeely, excuse me. He was just unique in that he just had it all under control. I don't really know how he did it.
It sounds to me like, Jerry, that he built a lot of trust in practice with you guys. He was a man of few words, but many actions. That's right, exactly. He instilled that confidence in you without saying we're going to have some confidence. He never talked about anything like that. He never was negative. Glad you brought that point up. He was never negative about anything at all. It was just do your job, and I know you'll do it. That was kind of confidence that we had. And huddles, he just might not have anything to say at all, like I mentioned. And it was just all natural, just real natural with Coach McNeely because he was charismatic. He just, there was nobody like him, period. He was a great athlete. He was a great motivator and didn't even act like a motivator today. I mean, you wouldn't see him standing up today on the, like the coaches do today. They want to stand up and run up and down the sidelines, which he'd never do that. It's just like I said, one lady told me that's why she came to the game, so she could see Coach McNeely sit there and watch the game. I mean, what was more impressive than that in itself? I just think it was a good picture of Coach McNeely. Beyond pictures, it just meant everything to me. Coach McNeely left his job with Phillips, Bartlesville, Oklahoma, and came here to Pampa, and it didn't take him long to instill the winning ways of the Harvesters. He had a 6-year run, and we're going to learn more about it. 4 state titles in the span of 6 years, and he had 2 undefeated teams, and his teams were really known for their hard, disciplined play on the court.
Well, McNeely Fieldhouse, it doesn't change. It's got tradition that has lasted forever. And Coach Hale was one of those guys that followed a long line of really great coaches, and he understands tradition. Garland Nichols was the head coach of Pampa and had a great run of teams, but it was Robert Hale who was finally able to repeat that championship history that Coach McNeely did, 30 some odd years later, whatever it was, 1996, from 59 to 96. So he was able to capture the magic that a great number of coaches were not able to, even though they had a lot of really good teams.
Jerry, I could come to McNeely Fieldhouse every day. This place never gets old, and since I was 10 years old, my mind brings me back to it, and now I'm lucky enough to be here again. And of course, one thing I love is the championship history that's on display at McNeely Fieldhouse. We've got these great felt banners all around the gym and on the court, and that tells us about the championship history of the Harvesters, which was created by Clifton McNeely. I love it because this place oozes history, it oozes nostalgia. When I put this project together to find the old gyms, it checks every box. We've got championships, we've got the nostalgia, we've got the look, we've got the feel of classic basketball right here in McNeely Fieldhouse.